Well, welcome to Tuesday. Yesterday we talked about opening our doors. Well, not literally opening our doors, but kind of beginning to gather. And the idea of gathering outside just enables us to be as safe as we possibly can as we do this re-enter process. Now, the question becomes, what if weather doesn't cooperate? Well, next week, we would probably know that by Thursday or Friday. And so we, at that time, will be able to, if we need to have a plan B, we will roll out that plan B. But right now, plan A, meeting outside, tent, we'll have chairs set up. Those who want to sit under the tent, but then, hey, maybe you want to bring a blanket, maybe you want to bring your own chairs and just scatter all around. And it'll be a cool setting. And I think only those who have a church and know church and love being a part of a body of believers understand the significance of what it will mean to all of us as we regather. Quarantine-inspired tweets from parents. Here's one that says, hey, you can't find your kids? Well, lie down to take a rest and they will find you. Pretty good formula. Here's the question on the table. What is the best thing about being a kid? What's the best thing about being a kid? And just brainstorm together. If you're an empty nester, Julie and I could sit around and talk about this. What's the best thing about being a kid? Just brainstorm together as a family. Fun question. We are, again, last week on life lessons from Joseph. So yesterday, chapter 47, verses 1 through 12. Jacob and Pharaoh are now linked together. You got these two nations now interwoven. The 70 people that make up this young Israelite nation are grafted into Egypt. They're given privilege. They have blessing from Joseph's platform that he has earned, that he has provided this opportunity. And so blessing, what you see is it provides opportunity to minister. This morning, what we want to do is we want to look at chapter 47, verses 13 through 31. So take some time, read that passage, 47, 13 through 31. Push the pause button, read the passage. Erwin Lutzer, former president of Moody Bible Institute, wrote about how in the world could a people group allow themselves to be owned by the state? How could you succumb to a leader and have zero rights? And Lutzer writes, he says, people, when hungry, people will trade their freedom for sausage. When you go back, that's what happened in Nazi Germany. Post-World War I, the nation was starving, and Hitler seized the opportunity. People gave their rights to have food. That's what's happening in Egypt. As the famine got worse, people traded their holdings, their land, their resources. They traded all those into Pharaoh for food. And in a short amount of time, Pharaoh owned all of Egypt. And Joseph was the genius that pulled it off. And as a result of being owned every year, they would have to pay an exorbitant amount of taxes. They owned nothing. Pharaoh owned everything. You know, people will allow themselves to be controlled by their stomachs rather than their values. And this flows out of the principle that fear is worse than reality. In the midst of our fears, we will give over what we truly value. All the while this is going on in Egypt, Joseph's family, who's been separated in this valley, this Goshen Valley, though under the umbrella of Egypt, they remained separate enough that they were able to grow their own family business during this time. And their family multiplied rapidly. They prospered. In the midst of a famine, they continued to prosper, while the rest of the world became worse off. The Egyptians looked to Pharaoh as their provider, and as a result, they became his servant. You know, it seems to me that the government is there to protect and serve the people, not the other way around, where the people, yes, we serve for a greater good of the whole, but the government isn't supposed to be God, where we serve it and we are subservient to it. The Egyptians looked to Pharaoh as the provider and they became his servant, whereas the Israelites looked to God as their provider. And as a result, they didn't compromise who they were. During this time, who are you looking to as your provider? Is it the government? You know, it's fine that the government will give you a check. It's fine that the government will do what it's supposed to do in protecting you. But is your attitude, are you looking to the governor to rescue or the government to rescue you? Or is God your sustenance? Is your security found in him? Well, during this time, ask the question, who is your sustenance? Who's your provider? Who do you look to? Take some time to contemplate that question, and we will see you tomorrow morning.